guys, it's Liz of Consumed by Books, and I am here to do the Happy Bookaholic Tag. I was tagged by Misty. She did not say in her video who started it or anything like that, so you would have to ask her those questions. But here I am, ready to do it. Sorry I'm all bundled up, but it's really cold where I am. So let's get right into the questions. The first one is, what do you love about buying new books? And the answer to that is pretty much everything. I guess I kind of buy books for a variety of different reasons. Sometimes I'll buy a book because, I'm really excited for its release, either because it's a title that tons and tons of people have said they would love, or they have loved and that I would love. Sometimes it's because it's a book that's coming out and it's from an author I love. There are some books that I'm drawn to mainly because of how the cover is designed. That happens. Sometimes those turn out to be great, sometimes not. Yeah, sometimes I'll also buy a book because of the design or a particular edition. So, I got my leather-bound edition of The Hobbit because I really like leather-bound books and I wanted to see, how that one would look on my shelves. And it is a really beautiful edition. And also sometimes I'll buy books, if there's something that I've been looking for a really long time, a particular edition, but I'm just now able to find it. This doesn't really happen too often, but once I have the book in my hands, I pretty much love everything about it. I love, having the cover art and being able to look at it and see what it looks like in person. And I love having things to display on my shelves, although I really need to get more shelves because I don't have enough storage space. So all of those kinds of things. And I also really like having a signed book to add to my collection when I'm able to get signed books. I like doing that because, it is really cool to have something that's signed by the author and it's like, oh my gosh, that this book has actually been in their hands. But also, if you actually get to go to the signing and aren't just ordering a signed book online, then it's really good to be able to look at the book and think of how nice that author was when you met them or how funny they were or anything like that. So those are all things that I love about buying books. The one thing I dislike is how expensive it can be, especially if you buy from indies instead of, ordering from Amazon or Barnes & Noble. It does add up really quickly, but they are the thing that I love to buy, so yeah. The next question is, how often do you buy new books? This has kind of been fluctuating a lot recently. I think this month I bought books maybe twice. I bought just one day when that came out, and I happened to buy a copy of Rift by Andrea Kremer because a bookstore I knew was hosting the author's launch party and I knew I could order a signed personalized copy from there. So that's what I did. So a lot of times there will be, a time of the month when I'll maybe order a couple of releases that I'm really excited for that month. And like I said, if there are signings or events, then I'll often go to those in person if I can, but if I can't, then I will order a book from the store if that option is available to me. And then sometimes I wind up placing random orders throughout the month, just because somebody, it'll get to a point where so many people tell me that I would love a certain book that I just break down and finally buy it. And sometimes I'm just in the mood to, get new things to read and have on my shelves, even though I've already got tons of stuff to read. So yeah, that's been fluctuating a bit. I imagine it'll probably stay at about twice a month right now. I need to, do some budgeting and hold off on buying the ALA award books, but, as the day I film this is Monday, and as you all know, the ALA Youth Media Awards were just announced, so the Prince, the Caldecott, the Newbery, and I'm really resisting the urge to buy a lot of those for my personal collection. That's hard, but I will eventually, just not right now. The next question is, bookstore or online shopping? Which do you prefer? That's a tricky one. Honestly, I would have to say that for me, it's more of a question of, do you prefer shopping at independent bookstores or online? Because I think that shopping independent bookstores is more beneficial to the authors and the publisher and the industry, because I think that they actually do wind up getting a bit more of the money if you shop independently. I'm not sure if that's entirely true though, because if you go to, say, Barnes & Noble, sometimes the price of hardcovers is very different in store from what it will be online. So I'm not really sure about all of that. Sometimes I will see a book online and I'll think, oh, that sounds okay, you know, I'm not really sure. I think I want it, but I'm gonna hold off for now. And then I'll see it in person and I'll read a blurb on the back cover and look at the inside jacket and be like, whoa, this book is gorgeous, this sounds amazing, I need this to come home with me today. So I do really like that element of shopping at a bookstore. And if I'm going to buy used books, it has to be in a bookstore. I have tried ordering from places like Better World Books and getting used books online before, and it just really doesn't work for me because I like getting books that are new to me in good condition. If I beat up a book when I have it, that's fine with me. I might end up replacing a really beaten up copy. I just don't like having a copy come into my hands where the spine is all cracked or there's a lot of bent corners or things like that. So in that sense, I would say that I prefer shopping in a bookstore. Online shopping is really convenient because Amazon, even though they are kind of a big evil corporation, they have just about every book you could ever want, and in a lot of cases they have it in Kindle and, you know, paper format, and sometimes you even get a choice between paperback or hardcover, and the prices are sometimes a lot cheaper than they are in regular bookstores, which is good and bad because it's bad for the industry but good for my wallet, so that's a real conundrum right there. And the other thing with online shopping is that I have Amazon Prime, so that means that everything that I order from there gets to me 2 days later, which is really awesome and convenient. And sometimes, you know, it can be hard to get to a bookstore exactly when you want just because of other time commitments. The next question is, do you have a favorite bookstore? And I would probably have to say at this point in my life, Red Balloon Books in St. Paul. I hadn't actually heard of this until the fall of 2010 when Andrea Kremer had her launch for the release of Nightshade. And I went there and before the event just to see where it was and shop around a little bit, like a few weeks before, not, you know, the day before. And I really liked it. And I went back there for the event. And then as I started keeping up with their website, I noticed that they actually host quite a few authors. It's really quite impressive. So that's one thing that I really love about Red Balloon is how many events they have, and also the staff there are all really knowledgeable about what they're talking about, and the way the store is laid out is really nice. So that's really good. And then another one I have to name is the Kenyon College Bookstore, of course, because I went to Kenyon, so, you know, they do have a really good selection of adult fiction, a little bit less like children's and YA stuff, because I just don't think there's as much of a market for that at Kenyon. A lot of it is, you know, people who want to read literature that is written for adults. So yeah, I do love that about it, but of course with the Kenyon bookstore, I also have fond memories of getting, you know, all of my Kenyon hoodies there and things like that, and also just going there late at night for a study break to get like a naked juice and some lint truffles, and yes, I know that that's an absolutely ridiculous study break snack, but there you have it. That's what I would snack on in college when I was studying and needed fuel. So of course, you know, that place is loaded with memories, and yeah. Oh, Kenyon, I miss you. Anyways, so question number 5 is, do you pre-order books? And the answer to that is I used to, but now almost never. There's a couple of reasons for this. For one thing, it's just kind of, it's lost the charm a little bit because I've moved around a lot lately, as you guys know. I was in grad school, then I was back home for a little bit while, and then I moved to Iowa to start my new job. And the thing about that period was that, you know, I didn't know when I was going to get a full-time job, so I couldn't really pre-order things because where was I going to be when stuff came out? I don't know. So there's that. The other thing is that it's also much easier for me now to get my hands on advanced copies of things, either because publishers actually send them to me in the mail, I can borrow the physical copy for someone else, and most recently I joined NetGalley, which is how you get e-galleys. So I'm able to get my hands on a decent amount of the stuff that I want to read, you know, before it actually comes out. Sometimes I might pre-order something like 2 days before it comes out so that I can get it from Amazon the day it's released, but for the most part I don't really pre-order books anymore. So there's that. Number 6 is, do you have a monthly book buying budget or limit? And I haven't really had one in the past. Part of the reason for that is because being in grad school and then kind of living with my parents, getting work experience and trying to find a job, my living expenses were very different from they are now, just in the sense that I didn't have loan payments at the time, I didn't have car payments, because that's just the way that all worked out. So I had a little bit more pocket cash on a regular basis in some ways that didn't need to go to like costs of living. Now I'm probably, you know, gonna have to be a little bit more careful with that, but I don't think that'll be an issue. So yeah, I guess it'll just be kind of, you know, a matter of, do I want to buy books or do I want to buy bigger things, especially since I'm, you know, just getting started in my new apartment and I need to buy things like a couch, and I really want to buy a bicycle for my birthday in April. So that's kind of a non-answer to the question, but it's just the best I can do right now. Sorry about that. Number 7 is about book buying bans. Are they something for you? I've tried them in the past twice and only one was successful. The other time I made a long list of exceptions and then just bought a bunch of other stuff anyways, so it was completely pointless. I just can't really do book buying bans. Yeah, I don't know. I think that placing a ban on it is kind of, it's the cold turkey way to go, and I'm not really a fan of doing that. I don't mind cutting back when I know that I want to save for something else. Like I said, right now I know I'm saving for a bicycle, so even though I really want to order books for myself that just won the ALA awards, I'm holding off to see how my budget pans out, and that's totally fine with me. Because I know that, you know, well, I'll see what it's like after I pay the bills and take care of a few other things, and then maybe if I have some spare cash I'll order the books. If not, it can wait for a few months. And that's fine with me. I just don't want to go on an all-out ban where it's like, you can't buy books, because then I get too focused on it and I worry about it and I feel like I have to be really strict with myself, and I don't know, it just takes the fun out of it, really. The next question is, how long is your wish list? The answer is very long. I am the type of person who, when I buy a book, I am very aware of the fact that I may not end up enjoying it. But even, you know, when I'm thinking, I'm not really sure if I'll love this book, I'm like, well, that's okay. If I don't love it, then I can send it to a book blogger friend, I can donate it to the library, I can take it to Goodwill. So I end up having a very long wish list of things that I wouldn't mind acquiring. Yeah, and that's kind of how that goes. I have a wish list on Amazon. I don't really keep it as up to date as I should, so sometimes people will give me copies of things I already have, which is fine. People don't really give me books very often. I mostly like to buy them for myself, for that very reason. So yeah, that wish list is incredibly long. The next question is, what 3 books would you like to own now? I would have to say that the first one on that list would be City of a Thousand Dolls, and it's by Miriam Foster or Forrester. I don't remember the name of her name exactly. But it is a fantasy novel that's coming out from HarperCollins, perhaps Balzer and Bray even, and that's going to be sometime in very early February. The other one that I want to order is one that just won a Prince Honor, as well as a couple of other awards, and it's something like Someone in Dante Discovers Something. For the life of me, I can't remember the full title, and I'm really sorry. It's not a book that I had really heard about up until today, actually, but it sounds really fascinating and won so many awards that it's definitely one that I have an interest in checking out. And I actually don't have a third book right now. I'm in my new apartment and I've got 3 packed bookcases as well as several boxes full of books kind of sitting around. They're not in the way or anything, they're tucked into corners and closets. But I've just got so many books now, and it's a pain to have to root through boxes for books because I don't have shelf space, that I actually kind of don't want to buy books at the moment. I kind of want to read some of the ones I have and see what I want to give away out of those and then go from there. And my last question is, who do you tag? I tag Lizzie Books. I really hope I got the name of her channel right. And also Book Movie Guy, who I know isn't making videos very often because he's in college, but no big rush. So anyways, those are my answers to all of the questions. Also, feel free to do this tag if you want. I'm sorry, I'm just really bad at remembering people's YouTube names. And that's all from me. Happy reading, guys. Bye.